Welcome to the Hmong Peeps Show, the one and only show that brings you ordinary people sharing extraordinary insights. Well, maybe. Here is your host, Chew Effin Lee.
Hey, what's going on, people? This is Chew. Welcome to the Hmong Peeps Show. I want to make an announcement, kind of a reminder, and it's about the spiritual retreat that's going to happen and take place on July 11th from 12 to 4. If you guys haven't done so, I've already posted an agenda on the Empowerment for Spiritually Gifted Hmong Peeps Facebook page. And I believe I've already messaged some of you, or I think all of you, about the rescheduled event. So we originally had it planned for this month, but it didn't work out. So we rescheduled it to July 11th. I'm very excited, and I look forward to seeing old and new faces there. Please wear something bright. It could be white, pink, blue, whatever color. Wear something very bright, and I'll kind of explain it to you guys when we get there. Okay? Now, did you guys see the news recently here, just today and yesterday, about this shooter in South Carolina? This white guy went into a church and killed 9 black people. Right? Right now, they're saying it's a hate crime because of the comments that the shooter made. He said something to the effect of, "I'm here to kill black people." And the sad thing is, he was invited to this Bible study by these black folks. You know, they opened him with open arms. Didn't make any judgment about him at all, I'm sure, and just invited him in as a total stranger. So he was there with them doing the Bible study for about an hour, and then all of a sudden he decides to, I'm sure he made this decision a while ago, but, he opened fire on those folks, and he decided to let one person live so that person can go and tell the story, which sounds very evil, in my opinion. But wow. Were you guys surprised to find out that the shooter was a white person? I asked this question because let's just be transparent here. We all have our own stereotypes and prejudices, so let's not try to be all politically correct and look innocent, right? So anyway, when I heard about this mass massacre, I had a feeling that it was probably a white guy. It doesn't really matter who it is, okay, but just in this story. And my point here is, for these kind of violence we see on TV, it's interesting how the media can influence us and create a stereotype for us. Now, some stereotypes are created via media, but some are created through experience, personal experience. So when I see these kind of things that occur and the media tries to tell us the story, I see a pattern. A lot of these I keep on saying mask, these mass massacre tend to be done by white people, right? And the sad thing is, I've also noticed another pattern where when it's a white person that does something like this, then the media makes it look like it was due to a mental illness. Okay? But when a person of color does it, then it's not a mental illness. It is blamed on their culture, and they don't talk about and don't mention about mental illness as much. And so let's look at how, when we see the media portray like black people, right? The violence that happens in their community, they don't talk about why the violence occurs, such as poverty and being underserved and stuff like that. But they go right away and call those people thugs and criminals. But they don't say that about, a white person that does these horrific crimes. So I'm going to tie that in to the topic today, which is the influence of media and how that impacts your spiritual development. So the power of media and the power of influence the media creates is something that I think creates fear and hesitance in a lot of us who are worried about being looked at as being crazy, right? Somebody who's nuts. When we look at shows that have gifted people come on, most of the time they get made fun of, right? I think the only shows that gifted people do not get made fun of are shows that specifically cater to the supernatural content, such as Ghost Adventures, Ghost Hunters, and some other shows that are pretty popular out there right now. Because those people in there they all kind of have the same mindset. And so they are open to having gifted people go with them on their little ghost hunting adventures, and they're not made fun of. But anything outside of that specific niche, spiritual people and spiritually gifted people get made fun of very, very quickly. And then for us who are on the verge of making that decision, should I or should I not pursue my spiritual journey, when we see that, we kind of think to ourselves, oh, I'm glad I guess I shouldn't do it, because that person got made fun of and that wasn't so nice, and I can't imagine how I would deal with it. So the media influences us in that way. And I may sound like a conspiracy theorist, but I'm really not. I try to look at, things that the media throws at us, and I try to look at things between the lines. Ask questions and say, what if it was this, or where is the source from? How are you guys talking about the information? What kind of language you're using to describe the story? And if you look at stories that way, I think it might help you see things differently as well. The power of the media is very it's great. I mean, great as in like it's big. And I think a lot of us, we don't even take enough time to think about how much power the media has over us. And some people can call it mind control or whatever, but call it what you want. I just think that the media they have a huge responsibility, and they should be more responsible as far as like how they tell stories and what kind of content they want to put out there. But then you can dig deeper and say, well, people like TV networks, they want ratings. They're all about ratings for advertisements. So yeah, you follow the money. Money is very dirty, right? And the media, we have to also think about who's controlling the media, who's in charge of the media, and what are these people's intentions, those that are in control of the media. So for you, when you are going into your spiritual development, reflecting on your own spiritual being or spiritual state, think about whether or not you should or should not pay too much attention to the media. Maybe you should watch shows that are very welcoming, as far as like spiritual people, right? Gifted people. And if you see shows that ridicule and make fun of spiritually gifted people, look at it from this angle saying, yeah, this is what the media is trying to do. The media is trying to hold other people down so that they don't open up. Look at it through those lens, and try not to look at it from these lens where you see it and you're going to tell yourself, I'm glad I'm not on that show, because wow, that person got destroyed. That psychic or whoever that person's got destroyed. So I hope that kind of helps you when you watch TV and you see the content relating to the supernatural or spiritual people. Yesterday I went to this mental health training. It was about 2 hours, and the person that was leading this training, she was very knowledgeable about mental illness. I mean, I have a background in that too, so there was really nothing new that I learned, but it was good to just go to these things to stay up to date on what's going on in that field. And the thing that bothered me was how people still view schizophrenia. People meaning mental health professionals. I mean, I've seen clients and I've worked with clients who have schizophrenia as a mental illness. And then I've seen and worked with clients who say they hear voices and they see spirits. And to me, it's not schizophrenia. I believe that they really do see these things and hear these things. So when the person was talking about, and this is relating to influence as well, and I'm going to get to that in a little bit. So this person was, talking about schizophrenia, and every time she talked about hearing voices or working with clients that see spirits. For example, she told of a story that one of her sisters kept telling her that she saw a little boy sitting at the edge of her bed, and they labeled it, schizophrenia. But maybe she didn't want to tell the entire story, and we didn't really get the entire story, but the way she approached that story was more of, it's all in your head, and there was really never a little boy there. I couldn't see it, so therefore it's not real. So how that influences people is, when you go to these trainings, and you see like the speaker, it's very natural as human behavior to put them on a pedestal, to say they are the professionals, they know what they're talking about, and because they have, all these initials behind their names, then what they say is true. It's human behavior. It's normal to think that way. But I know that for some of you listening, when people try to tell you that you didn't really experience what you shared, I know that it can be very insulting, because what you experienced was real and nobody else can tell you otherwise, right? So when you are in front of people excuse me, are in front of people, just like how I have this microphone, I have this YouTube channel or this platform, I try very hard to remember the influence I may have on other people. People might take my messages the wrong way, or they might see it differently. It might offend them. I can't control that. I do believe in, the freedom of speech thing too. So, and I don't try to influence anybody to do anything. I just share my experiences, share my thoughts, and whether or not people want to follow it, it's up to them. But anyway, when you have a platform and you become this authority figure, or people look at you as an authority figure in whatever content it is, you have to be careful about how you say things and how it might be damaging to other folks. So be careful, okay? But all in all, just remember that at the end of the day, no matter what you say, you can't control what people think of your content or how they perceive it. All right, so don't be afraid to speak up. Don't be afraid to share your thoughts and your opinions, because the best thing is to provoke them to think about whatever you're talking about, to create discussion, to create curiosity. I think if you can do that, then you've done your job, because you're not trying to make anybody really believe in what you're saying. You're just sharing what you what you're either passionate about or what you know about. So be responsible in that way when it comes to influence. Okay. All right, that's it for today. I will try to have another video out very shortly here. It's going to be for the Hmong relationships content. And I hope you guys have been enjoying those too. I don't know if I told this to you guys, but I'm going to, when I do these Hmong relationship series, if it has any connection to spiritual growth or spiritual development, I will post it on this empowerment page, and hopefully you guys will enjoy it as well. All right, have a great weekend, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.